The Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, Godfred will soon lay before Parliament 2 bills that will provide alternative sentencing other than imprisonment for accused persons and convicts. The 2 bills are the Plea Bargaining Bill and the Alternative Sentencing Bill. The Attorney General made this known when he paid a working visit to the James Camp Prison and Senior Correctional Center at Roman Ridge in Accra. The visit, the first of many planned visits by the Attorney General to prisons in the country, was to enable him familiarize himself with the work of the prison service. Plea bargaining is where an accused person makes some concessions either by wholly or partly admitting his or her guilt or assisting in the investigation and the prosecution of others in exchange for the dropping of charges against the accused or receiving reduced sentences. Alternative sentencing allows a court to sentence a convict to do community service and other options other than imprisonment. When passed into law, the 2 bills are expected to reduce the backlog of criminal cases in courts as well as help decongest the country's overcrowded prisons. Mr. Dame also revealed that Cabinet has given the green light for the plea bargaining bill to be laid before Parliament, while the alternative sentencing bill is going through the process of stakeholder consultations and will soon be laid before Parliament on conclusion of same. He said the plea bargaining bill will be an amendment to the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960, Act 30, with the alternative sentencing bill being a fully fledged act of Parliament. Mr. Dame said the plea bargaining law will not be wholesale, as some crimes will be exempted.
Those who say that the Justice for All program has not generally solved the problem of congestion in Ghanaian prisons. A critical look, in my view, ought to be taken at the procedure for trial of criminal cases in Ghana, the kinds of punishment inflicted after trial. It's in this regard that my office is seeking to introduce 2 important pieces of legislation which will have far-reaching consequences for the criminal justice system. They are, first, an amendment to the Criminal Procedure Act 1960 at 30 to incorporate plea bargaining firmly into the trial of cases. By this amendment to the Criminal Procedure Act, plea bargaining will be permissible in all cases, save a few that will be set out in the Act. I am happy to state that Cabinet, about 3 weeks ago, granted approval to my request for the policy and the bill for the amendment to the Criminal Procedure Act to incorporate plea bargaining to be laid before Parliament. Pursuant to the directives of Cabinet, I have consulted the Honourable Minister for the Interior on the exceptions to plea bargaining. I propose that offences in the nature of treason, offences like rape, genocide, robbery, kidnapping, murder, attempted murder, abduction, defilement, piracy, and offences related to public elections will be excluded from plea bargaining. Apart from these offences, plea bargaining will be available in all other cases.
He said to check abuse, plea bargaining would only be done with the consent of the Office of the Attorney General. Other elements of the bill, he said, included the right of an accused person to enter into plea bargaining with the prosecutor before judgment by the court, the format of the negotiations, the benefits of plea bargaining for accused persons, what the agreement should entail, and the option for either party, the prosecution and the accused, to withdraw from plea negotiations.
I consider the introduction of plea bargaining the most significant innovation in the process of reform of the criminal justice system in Ghana, which will have the ultimate object of easing congestion in our prisons. It is worthy to state that in order to safeguard against abuse, plea bargaining will be conducted only with the consent of the Attorney General and in line with and in accordance with strict conditions set out in the proposed bill. The second innovation to ease congestion in our prisons is the passage of an Alternative Sentencing Act. I consider the passage of an Alternative Sentencing Act an urgent necessity. In this regard, I recently reviewed a draft community sentencing bill that I charged the Director of Legislation drafting in my office to come up with. The draft bill seeks to provide options for sentencing other than prison term for various offences considered not to be too serious. It is going through a process of stakeholder consultations and will also soon be laid before Parliament.
The Attorney General said his outfit, despite its line of work, was very concerned about the welfare of prisoners. In view of that, He said his outfit was leading the charge to reform the country's criminal justice system by introducing legislation and policies.
Meeting both pieces of legislation as part of my priority legislation this year. Director General, I promise also to lead the advocacy in improving conditions in our prisons and ensuring an increase in budgetary allocations for the prison service.
The Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, Mr. Isaac Ejere, said the current prison population stood at 13,559, out of which 1,573 were remand prisoners, adding that the Justice for All program had since its inception in 2007 drastically reduced the remand population.
The prison service is at this juncture advocating for the establishment of a central electronic case management system with defined operational procedures common to all criminal justice institutions to help streamline processes which will guide criminal justice agencies and establish responsibilities and guidelines for efficient service delivery. In addition to training packages for prison staff to enhance their professional capacities, the service will also appreciate your support, sir, in electronically streamlining its database for effective linkages between the prison establishments and the central administration or headquarters to facilitate speedy access to inmate information records and also reduce volume of paperwork.
The Attorney General also used the occasion to donate some items such as drinks, cooking oil, rice and toiletries to the prison after being conducted around the correctional facility.